Hello everyone, this is Livery Model. Today I bring you a model from France. But just before that, some news and follow-up about another video I did. So if you guys remember, a couple of videos ago I built this. You're gonna find a link on the top right corner, and if it does not appear, you'll find it in the description if you haven't seen it. Well, I said that if there was any interest, I was gonna motorize this static model. And so guess what? I've started to receive parts for it. So these are the bogies. Hopefully I'm going to receive the motor pretty soon, and we'll do that, and I think it's going to be interesting. So now, back to today's model. So, today's model is this. This is a French BB 63000 or 63,000 locomotive. This one is made by Piko. The model number is 96178, and it is part of the hobby line of Piko. That is their entry-level models. A bit similar to the Hornby Railroad, however, I do think that in this case, basic Piko models are actually superior to the Hornby Railroads. So let me just start to unbox this here. So we got quite a lot of paperwork, as with all the Piko models. So let's just start to see what we have in there. So some warranty information. I don't think anybody's really interested by that. So because this is a French model, we got a French letter here saying thank you for purchasing the model, and if you want to give us your information and register your product, please fill out this thing. Well, it won't be done by me. We got a couple of catalogs. These are in German, strangely. Well, Piko used to make cheap models that were decently looking with less details. Now they've gotten the same way as everybody else and are a bit more expensive to my liking. But as you can see, this model that I'm showing today has a 2008 catalog, so you can pretty much assume that it dates back from then. I got it a couple of years ago, and the price for it was back then 105 euros. So here's the actual instruction manual for the locomotive. They do have some really nice exploded view, and this shows you how to install a little decoder, and the one that you're gonna see today actually has one installed. However, you couldn't see from the outside. If you need to order any replacement parts, there are quite a few parts and they're all listed. I think that these manuals are very well made, and I actually prefer them to the Hornby manual. Okay, now on the model itself. They all come in those kinds of packages, and all the ones I have anyway, so very similar to the block of ice. The model itself is right here. So let's start to look at some of the details first. So you've got quite some fine handrails at each ends. They're a bit fragile, so it's not a fun model to carry in your hand, but so far they haven't broken or anything. They're pretty flexible. There are no interior detail on this model. This is actually where the decoder is, right underneath the cab here. Most of the detail that you see on this model are actually just molded. A notable exception being all those little horns here that you see. These are actually separately fitted parts. So this model is operated by SNCF, but their infrastructure division, so it's actually one that's used for maintenance. I was really impressed back then by the tempo printing that it has. This is a model that dates back again from 2008, and I just want you to see how neat everything is printed on it. You can even see that it's based in Strasbourg. The material that I used to build this model, this is plastic, like the whole body is plastic, but the running board right here, this is all die cast, and it makes a model that's actually pretty heavy. Just for reference, if I take our trusty scale here, this one weighs 239 grams. A couple of nice details I like with it. This grid right here is molded, but if you look at it closely, the way it's molded, you still have the feeling that there's a fan underneath. And I think that's really nice. Other than that, you've got the bogies here, right here, which have a couple of details. But I have to say that they're not the most detailed one I've seen out there. The buffer beams have two buffers, very, very distinctive shape. However, they are not sprung. Another detail that you will find is that at both ends of the model there are some lights. Finally, they have the European style coupling, but these are NEM pockets, so you can actually change them for whichever you want. In terms of traction, it's all-wheel drive, all-wheel pickup. The NEM pocket is actually able to spring a bit by itself. And each bogie has one traction tire right here. Now, people don't like traction tire usually, and I'm not a super fan of them, but it sure gives a lot of pulling power to this little locomotive. So what do you think about it? Does it look good for you? Is it too basic for you? For me, I think it's fine. And the price that it was made it affordable-ish, even back then. And I think it looks decent enough. I really like the livery. Again, this is one of the most detailed one that I've seen back then in terms of tempo printing quality. And as a whole, I think Piko did a really good job at representing them in terms of scale. Although some other made by competitors are known to have more details, well, to everything I've seen, this is the most accurate one that I was able to find just in terms of proportion. So if you don't have a magnifying glasses looking at it, I think it's a model that looks very fine, and I hope that you've enjoyed seeing it. This was Leeway Model. Up to next time. I hope you have a nice time. Leeway Model out.